I will be playing some WiiWare and Virtual Console games, and maybe if we've got time, there's one physical Super Nintendo game that we'll get to. So my plan for tonight involves 3 games total. So we're probably going to be playing, some Castlevania Rondo of Blood. If we get to that physical cart, it's going to be Castlevania Dracula X on the Super Nintendo, which is a neutered version of that game, but I think it's still worth taking a look at. And and I'm not sure which one yet, these 4 WiiWare titles, which were all kind of I don't want to say rebirth because they were in the title. They were reimaginings of existing franchises. In many ways, these were, Blaster Master 3, a reimagining of Castlevania the Castlevania Game Boy games, a brand new Gradius, and a brand new Contra before some of these franchises were actually brought back. So I want to start with Castlevania. Now, I will apologize in advance. The text is all in Japanese, the audio is all in German. It's just a reality you have to face with this game. It was never released in North America until the PSP, I believe, and then every version since then has been using the translation from the PSP, but this is the original on the Virtual Console. Oh, Kyle, welcome to the stream. Okay, so this should be interesting for you because you have played this game's sequel, which directly follows it. So this is the Rondo of Blood on the Turbo CD, which was the TurboGrafx CD. As I mentioned, it's all text is all in Japanese. No, this one is Rondo of Blood. I'm going to start from scratch. If you've played Symphony of the Night, you know this music because it is the file select music from that game, which I guess is technically the reverse. Alright. For some reason, name entry is a separate selection from choosing my... Alright, cool. We've got a sound test and we've got the game start. So we're going to start this game. So the plot of this game is Dracula kidnaps a bunch of people from Richter's village, and including his girlfriend, Annette, I believe. We won't be able to see the actual names because, again, Japanese and German. That's her right there. And we have to go save them and kill Dracula. Now, if you don't want to save them, you don't have to. But saving at least one of them, Maria, grants her as a playable character. Now, I'm just letting this play through. I could skip it, but I think it's kind of a funny thing for the Turbo CD. Like, it's the one really well-known TurboGrafx game that just never made it to North America, that everybody wanted to play. It eventually did come in the form of Dracula X on the Super Nintendo, and then it got ported properly to some later Sony consoles, but I don't believe there's supposed to be any music right now, so if you're confused as to why that's... You can hear that there's still... Ooh, jeez. Can I hit him? Nope. Alright, cool. So there's a lot of music in this game that comes from past Castlevania games. It really is a love letter to a lot of those old games. And this is, I think, the best classic Castlevania game. So here's the deal. This came out after Castlevania 4, if I'm not mistaken. I'm back to just normal whips. I can't shoot up, but I can jump on and off of ladders, which is neat. I can't moonwalk on ladders like I used to be able to. It's just up or down. But also, if I press jump twice, I do this neat little backflip. Now, why is that useful? Because if I was, say, down here and there's a skeleton to my top left, I could backflip up onto the platform with no problems. I actually think I want the axe for now. This is another game, unlike C4, where it is beneficial to have sub-weapons, because the whip is not your best option, as was the case with most classic Castlevania games. So I just want you guys to remember this scene and the art behind it for when we do eventually get to the Super Nintendo version of this game, because I think in many ways that version of the game is the prettier version, but only in some ways. So the deal with the TurboGrafx was that it had it was referring to itself as a 16-bit console, but the game itself was, or the system itself was actually only an 8-bit console. What was 16-bit was the I was pretty sure I could go further into there. Maybe it's up here. There we go. Or maybe not. I was almost certain I could go through there. There we go. What was 16-bit was the GPU for the system. So this technically had the same kind of power as the NES, but it was a little bit more graphically powerful. All right, we're going to drop down here. So what differentiates this game from a lot of other Castlevania games is that there are explorable paths for you to go find that don't necessarily lead to death. So, like, if I fall down somewhere, it doesn't always mean, that's a bottomless pit. Sometimes they are paths to additional levels. Am I going to play Drac X 2? Yeah, my goal here is to get 3 games played tonight. I'm not going to play through the entirety of them, but I think I've got enough in me with regards to Castlevania to play more than one. And I'm feeling like if I'm going to play this, I should really show off the other version of the game. Since it's kind of known for all of the wrong reasons, I think it's... I want to highlight it positively. I think it's better than most people gave it credit for. I probably should have kept that holy water. As many people have learned recently, the holy water is OP. So this bridge likely will collapse on me or something like that. Oh no, you see that monster in the background? So here's something else that I can do. If I have enough... Oop, well, maybe I can't do it. Oh, okay, I'm dead. This game and the Super Nintendo game were the first games to introduce the item crash, a system by which you could overload the... Hold on, I'm trying to remember how to do it. You could use a large number of hearts to shoot out a large attack. I don't think I have enough here to do... Hold on a second. I'm just quickly looking up a control input because I feel like I'm missing one here. Sorry, I know this isn't the most interesting thing to look at right now. But it will be if I can quickly find what I'm looking for here. Oh, it's the select button. Okay, see, I wouldn't have guessed that. Alright, I'm probably going to die this time. I have played a few levels of this game, but I've honestly not gotten incredibly far in it. Mostly just because I haven't been playing a lot of it, but not because I at all find it super challenging or that it's a hard game. Or a bad game, rather. It's a very, very good game and worthy of your time. Okay, I've got 11 hearts. Now, I've technically skipped over that jar up there that I do want. So I'm going to try and get it. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. So the item crash for the holy water is a big screen nuke. Don't know how much damage it will do, but I know what it does, which is probably a good start right now. Alright, 27 is probably a good number. I don't know how many it's going to use. In Dracula X, it uses 5 to use the item crash. Come on, show up. There we go. There's my item crash. Oh wow, that used a lot of hearts. I am just walking into the enemy here. Cool. Thanks. Awesome. Whoa. We've either got a ton of bots in the chat, or just a lot of users. Hey Kyle, you want to take a look at that for me? Since we got mod power here. That is a long list according to OBS, and something doesn't feel right. Not that I wouldn't like a long list of people watching, but something feels wrong about that. Unless all of those people are your followers and they are just... and because you're hosting or something like that. Alright, so the item crash uses 20 here. That's a lot. And it also didn't hit just now, which really sucks. I'm so going to die here. we go. I think that was a game over too, which I'm cool with because it gives me a chance to start this over. Alright, maybe I'll take the normal path for the first time through this level. When you finish levels, you go back to a stage select, so it's another way this game is different from other Castlevanias. It's a little weird doing that, but it's only because there's so many alternate levels and because there's the alternate characters. But I think the real takeaway here is, like, this is classic Castlevania at its finest. And you can tell how good the sprite work is because Symphony used almost all of the enemies with minimal changes. So you'll remember last time we came through here, I went to the left. This time I'm going to go the normal path and go right. After getting some health. So one of the things I should point out about the Super Nintendo version of this game is that it had a bad habit of spamming bats and Medusa heads to the detriment of its level design. The same way that, like, we think of in stereotypically bad design. Excuse me. Which is why, again, it's not generally thought of as a good adaptation of this game. But it's still I think it is a interesting enough experience to justify playing. So I think that dragon's gonna fly down here. Oh shit, it's Ridley. Let's item crash him. Oh, I'm dead. That's too bad. I came really close to killing him in that first try. And that's a boss I've never seen before, so. Oh, good. I kept the axe. I don't want to item crash him this time, though. I was having more success using the axe normally. So something kind of neat about the design of this and Dracula X is that, unlike the 8-bit games, Richter actually has a different stature when he is ready to use a sub-weapon. And it's really useful if you want to know, hey, am I going to throw a sub-weapon? So that was a desperation attack. A lot of enemies will use them. But if I press up on the D-pad, I get that pose instead of my normal or down. And that is how I know that I will throw in a sub-weapon if I use the whip. These have to be fake accounts, right? I mean, they were all made yesterday. Oh, hey, look, we got Vampire Killer. Da 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 da. Kill those crows before they come down and get me. Yeah, Kyle, if you could check on that for me. Maybe, use mod powers to get rid of some of those bots. I'm getting killed by a crow. Fucking birds. Second to Medusa heads, they're like the worst. Yeah, I'm gonna get you. Alright. Get wrecked. And the castle opens up. So the second level of Dracula X is a very different looking adaptation of this. This is like the same as the original Castlevania's opening, which I think is a neat little touch. You know, a lot of detail put into making sure that the castle looks right. Like, Vampire Killer really is the, you know, storming Dracula's castle music. Alright, we got a lot of money. Can't do anything with money in this game, but, you know, we still have it. Oh, I climbed a ladder by accident. Oh, I am going to die soon. Alright. That's a really useful cross that I didn't need right at the doorway. What I need is health. Oh god. Oh no. Okay, so this monster is in the... Oh, I got the key. Shit. I have to hold on to the key. It's like the worst time to get the key. Okay, so the key is needed in order to open certain doors that lead to the 4 trapped ladies. Oh god. Well then. Oh, and it started me without the key. Shit. I'm gonna need to redo this level. Can I go back? No. Okay. I'm probably going to have to game over here. Or finish the level and come back, because I need that key. We'll encounter the reason that I need the key really soon. Like, it is right up ahead, I'm sure. Get some health. Go down here. And try going off to the left, because, you know, feels like the place that they would hide a secret door. In this case, it wasn't, but the keys are necessary if I want to unlock their cages. So that's where I need the key. Yeah, I'm just gonna... I can't crawl like I could in Castlevania 4. I'm gonna let myself die. Oh, come on. Alright, this is technically level 2, I think. I always forget about my backflip ability. I wonder if I can use it to get up there. In Dracula X, the collision is like really wonky sometimes, and so you'll be able to backflip wherever you want. Give me that game over. There we go. Cool. I want that key. which is good. It means if you like being a dick to birds, you get to watch me be a dick to birds more. And if you don't like me being a dick to birds, well, I'm sorry. Hey, bird, stop being a dick to me. What did I ever do to you? Let me in. So I don't know who's actually in the chat right now because there are so many spam bots. If you're here, just, you know, take attendance. Do something interesting. So that I know that you're there. Oh, well, I guess I'm glad that I died here rather than before I got the key. Or rather than when I had the key. I know Bleach Phantom and Cincinnati 29 were here. And Kyle was here. I don't know if he still is. So many goddamn zombies. It feels like I'm in a horror movie. I wish I had more health before starting this section. Cool, take the key. Unfortunately, oh, fuck. Unfortunately, the key means I don't have a sub-weapon. That's the real downside to it. Which you probably expected was the case. And as I said, this is, again, a game where sub-weapons are very valuable. So we're just doing the best that we can with what we got. And really hoping he doesn't catch me. In the Super Nintendo game, that monster just launches you forward. It doesn't do anything else. Okay, let's... Ooh, stopwatch. I do not want it. Disappear. Cool. I'm going to get the key used, which will be nice. Now, I can't remember if there's two key doors or if this is the key door. We'll find out very quickly, though. I really hope I don't have to transport the key further. Alright, cool. Use the key, and I saved Maria Renard. Alright, so this means that I got the other playable character. Oh, here's some German. Or Japanese, whichever one they choose to speak in. Sorry if you hear an echo. I accidentally just opened my audio. Cool. So, Maria really just thanks me for saving them. Or for saving her. The other three are still in the castle. So, Maria's deal is that she's sort of a magician. She uses summon spirits. And she is considered the game's easy mode. She has a double jump. She takes a little bit more damage, but she is... Oh yeah, Richter's being a little dick. Oh, I still have to finish the level. I forgot about this. So let's finish this up when I'll use Maria for the next stage so you can see what I'm talking about. She's a bit of a glass cannon. I have all of these hearts and no sub-weapon to use. That's really unfortunate. Give me a sub-weapon. I guess I'll take the holy water. There are worse things to have. This feels like it should be a boss room, but I guess not. Oh no, this is totally the boss room. We got the wolf man in the back. Who, if you've played Castlevania 3, I believe, he functions the same way. Cool. I love it when I get to a boss and then immediately die. So they'll probably give me just enough hearts to pull off an item crash and not a whole lot more. Yeah, not even an item crash. Cool. Dick. Oh yeah, I'm gonna die again. This is not going well. Ah, I think that might be a game over. Player change. Alright, cool. Now I'm playing as Maria. So I've got this double jump. I throw doves. Man, inevitably someone is going to come in and not know what's going on. So as sub-weapons, I have these other animals. So right now I've got I think they're like supposed to be little phoenixes. I'm pretty sure what she does is she uses the 4 animals of the Chinese zodiac. So her attacks are kind of like super powered, but I also take a ton of damage from enemy attacks. But, you know, it's a Castlevania game where now I've got a double jump. And if you've played Symphony, then you know Maria because she is in that game. She is playable if you play the Saturn version, but then you've made the horrible mistake of playing the Saturn version. And like Richter, Maria is awesome at the art of jumping onto and off of stairs. I'd like to get a different sub-weapon. I don't know what her sub-weapon crash is, but we're gonna... Yeah, it's... Yeah, I'm absolutely sticking with Maria as much as I can here. I think it's way funnier to watch Dracula get killed by a little girl. And he actually makes some comment of that in the game, but of course you wouldn't know that. So now I've got this turtle, which lets me hide. Which is, you know, the ancient magic of hiding in a turtle shell. So, yeah, I'm going to try and kill this thing in the Super Nintendo version. It's totally doable. You just have to whip it really quickly. There we go. Can I go back? No. But I don't have to worry about it chasing me. And there's something really satisfying about knowing that I was only able to do that. That's correct. I think they've swapped the colors around a little bit, but... So it's a phoenix. The phoenix, the turtle, the dragon, and the tiger. No, I'm not a Disney princess. Richter is the Disney princess. So fun, I can skip this section now. Which I'll do after I... Oh, I don't know if you guys saw that, but the food she picked up wasn't like a piece of meat. It was a piece of cake. Super cute. Alright, what weapon are you going to give me here? Which sub-weapon? You're going to give me the turtle. Interesting. I don't know why I thought you would give me anything else. Will that give me the rain crash ability, though? Like, what is the... What is the item crash for this weapon? Come here. Give me a health bar. I want to see your health bar. Alright, we're going to do better this time. Time to throw birds at a wolf. They all work like the boomerang, which is awesome. Oh, I guess... Wow, I'm actually losing this fight, which is a little surprising. Oh, the desperation attack got me. You can see I just hung on by a thread. She gets like a little cute stage clear thing that isn't bloody like Richter's. Oh, this stage's theme is Bloody Tears. The music in this game is fantastic, and part of it's because it's the CD version of, or the CD quality audio that's on here. But I don't think that changes the fact that the game itself just has a good soundtrack. I don't know who's still working on the soundtrack at the time. I feel like the name is escaping me. The game is long, but not because it's like a lot of levels. There's a lot of secret levels. Hold on. Okay, I did not know who the composer for this game was. So I think that I want to say that Igarashi actually got a start in this game, but not in a decision-making role. So, like, all future Castlevanias were somewhat influenced by that. Now, I may be wrong and talking out of my ass, and in which case, I'm sorry, I'm just misremembering. I know he worked on Symphony. I know he was the director of Symphony. I'm pretty sure he got a start here. These enemies are a pain in every version of the game. I'm probably not going to play through the entirety of this thing. I just wanted to give people like a sense of this one before we move on to the other version of it. Hey Kyle, can you clear out the spam bots that are filling our chat? There's like 20 of them. They're not saying anything, but they're all just sitting there. And I only know it because their accounts were created yesterday. And they're not showing up as viewers. Alright. We go into the next room. I think I'll try and finish this level and then we'll change up games. Oh, look, it's everyone's favorite Fleamen. Ooh. I got the music book. Now I can throw music at people. One of those, I believe, leads to an extra level. Just so we're keeping track of things that I'm familiar with. I don't really want to jump down them, but I might just to see if I can find the level. I'm pretty sure it's this first one. Yeah, okay. This is the alternate level. Or alternate path for the level. Oh no, I wanted the... Oh, this little tiger. That's cute. Come on, don't die before you get to the end. Fortunately, I've got the ability to double jump. Oh, fortunately, I ran right into that enemy. Is that a game over? It feels like a game over. Am I getting attacked by bees? Oh, those weren't bees. Those weren't bees at all. Like, Castlevania does not feel like the kind of game that should be this fluid. I've got the turtle now. Come on, stay down. Bees, don't kill me. Jumped right into him again. That one's the game over. Heh. It's a cute game over screen. Save and end. So I just want to quickly show off before we move to the next game. That if I go into my file, I go to stage select, you'll see how like it's kind of branching. I've got the opening, stage 1, you see there's 2 different bosses. Stage 3 is forward. I guess there's no secret exit for this level then. There's just alternate paths. And some levels will have those where like the alternate path won't sometimes leads to one of the hidden prisoners, and sometimes it leads to player select. Cool. So you see I've finished 22% of the game now, which is way more than I'd already done. Okay, so let's go back to the Wii menu. Alright, so, I think what I'm going to do is skip out on trying to complete a full game tonight. Instead, what I'm going to do is switch over to the Super Nintendo, which will only take about 20 seconds because I have it actually turned on and ready to go. And then I'll come back with some more Castlevania. So, give me 1 second. Alright, we are back. Look at that quick change. So we are going to start up a new game. This game does not have a save feature like the other one does, but you'll find it's pretty much the same game. So I can still do the same stuff. I can backflip. I can whip. I can use my items. I can item crash for a whole lot less than I could in the TurboGrafx game. So I was saying before, like, I think that the visual effects in the background are far more impressive on the Super Nintendo. They're not the greatest that the system itself can produce, but they're still certainly interesting, or more so interesting than the TurboGrafx produced. That being said, there's a lot of gameplay elements that are negative about Dracula X relative to the other version of it, the original version of it. I'm going to skip some unnecessary jumps when possible. I spent a good chunk of this afternoon playing this just to make sure that I was used to playing the Super Nintendo version again. So this game has A, less levels, and B, it has... Ooh, I want that. It has less levels, it has less playable characters, it has less people to save. But it's pretty solid still. I mean, there's a lot of unfairness in the game, but I don't know. It's tough to defend a broken game, but it's a broken game that I think still feels like a really solid entry in the series. And I really don't know how to best to put that. Like, I don't have a whole lot of love for Super Castlevania 4. I think this is the better of the two Super Nintendo Castlevania games. We're going to get that monster, by the way, that was chasing me before. The one that I killed as Maria. Here, I don't have to lead it into a wall. I have to lead it into a pit. So these areas right here are pits, and I'm going to drop him into one. Coming up right ahead of me. So that's like evil if you didn't know those turned. So he's gone, and then I move on. The first enemy is a dog thing, if I recall correctly. It's like a Cerberus. Anyway, but this should be the first boss. And it's dead. Now, I only feel like that went as quickly as it did because I had so many hearts and because I spent a good chunk of the day playing it, so I was ready for that fight. So you can see in the background that's the password for this upcoming stage with the item that I'm holding. So every level has a password that reflects the item that you start the level with. So if you want to start the very last level of the game, the fight against Dracula, with the holy water, it's a very simple password. It's not an ideal one, but it's doable. So this was not in the... this was obviously not in the TurboGrafx version of the game, at least not in the level set that I played. But the music was. So you're getting to hear a different version of the same remixed track, which I think is neat. I like that they said, oh, this track's already remixed, let's remix it a second time for the same game. Like, I hesitate to call it a port. It's more of like a reimagining of the same story. I wouldn't call it a remake, though. You know, like Square Enix might have chosen to do. So what do we think? Which one do we like more? Visually, musically, I don't care what metric you choose. It looks cleaner because it's a more powerful piece of hardware, right? Like the TurboGrafx CD was a CD system for a for a sort of 16-bit console, right? Like it'd be like if you attached the Sega CD to a Sega Genesis, but it wasn't actually the Genesis. It had like the Master System adapter on top of it. You know, like you're not really getting a CD experience for a 16-bit console. Now, mind you, we're going to see those spear enemies in a second, and they are terrible in this game. They're just so unfair. They're broken. For some reason, their hitbox doesn't always respond properly. And I don't think they did this in the original version, but they speared downward through the floor. But I don't intend to spend a whole lot of time here. I think it was just a neat little comparison to show. This one I had on cartridge. I've got the Japanese version of the cartridge because the North American version of the game costs like $200 something, and the Japanese cart cost me $40 at the time of purchase. And the only thing that's different is the image on the title screen is in Japanese. Literally everything else about this game is the same between the English and Japanese counterparts. And that's a neat thing to note if you are interested in collecting or picking up specific Super Nintendo games, is always check to see if the Japanese version is cheaper and if the Japanese version has any language differences. Because often, games that are not RPGs, that don't have a lot of text, are identical. They don't bother localizing them. Or rather, they didn't bother localizing them. So when I game over this time, because it's going to happen shortly, I will switch back over to the Wii, and we will continue with a WiiWare game. And I was considering Castlevania Rebirth, but I'm going to make sure we're not playing Castlevania all night. So the boss for this level is the giant bat, which is a familiar enemy if you've played any Castlevania game. Usually one shows up at some... Fuck. Now one of those enemies is going to have respawned. I'm sure of it. This is usually how this works out for me. Something respawns and kills me. Oh, I guess not. Oh, also, just since we didn't talk about it before, the item crashes are pretty much the same. There's a handful of them that are slightly less visually impressive, but other than that, there we go. All right, cool. So that's Rondo, or that's Dracula X and Rondo of Blood. Cool. All right. So back to the Wii. Let's play some Blaster Master Overdrive. So Blaster Master is a series that I don't remember if I've played any on a stream yet. It was a Sunsoft, the Sunsoft franchise. I think Sunsoft got bought by Konami at some point. So I guess it's a Konami franchise? Sunsoft might still exist, actually. Interesting. I thought they stopped I thought they ceased to exist, but I may be wrong about that. Whatever. So Sunsoft had this game on the NES called Blaster Master. It has since gotten 2 brand new games, Blaster Master Zero and Blaster Master Zero 2, on the Switch, and I'm sure a few other platforms. Those games are awesome. Highly recommend you check them out. This was a WiiWare title by Sunsoft, kind of trying to reboot the franchise a little bit. It doesn't come highly recommended, as far as I've read. So this is supposed to be like an alternate reality to all of the other stuff that existed in the Blaster Master universe. I mean, this is a remix of the opening theme from the original Blaster Master, so it's not a bad start. Alright, so this is Alexander. And whichever Sophia this is, in the original Blaster Master, I believe it's Sophia the Third. And then in Blaster Master Zero, you change Sophia the Third into Blaster Master, or into G Sophia or something like that. All right, cool. So I can't play this with the Pro Controller. We've got to play this with the Wii Remote sideways. Already, it's not a good sign. Yeah, okay. I watched this already. I mean, they're evoking all the right emotions here. Area 1, Ruins. Oh, I've got a map. That's interesting. So, Blaster Master Zero made a real concerted effort to keep the 8-bit looking aesthetic of the original game, which I think it probably benefited from. Alright, so here's the deal with Blaster Master. Not that one. In Blaster Master, you, every once in a while, will climb out of the tank. The tank section's more like a Metroidvania, but then you enter these top-down sections. Yes, I want to save. And in the top-down sections, you fight enemies and uncover parts to make your tank better. You also pick up power-ups for the human. And these power-ups might be things like a faster gun, or bombs, or a new weapon, and they come in the form of these peas. So you see, like, my gun just upgraded. Now I've got these 2 side-by-side blasts. It's almost think about like a top-down shooter, you know, like a Gradius or something like that, where like you pick up the drops from an enemy and they make your ship shoot extra lasers, or but if you get hit, you lose them. Okay, so that's a looked like it was probably a permanent upgrade to my health or the tank's health. Okay, so I can hold down the button to just auto fire. Good to know. What's okay? Interesting. So I've got these 3 weapons to cycle through. That is different. Honestly, if I'm going to tell you to sit down and play a Blaster Master game, I'd say play like the first 20 seconds of the original game, just so you kind of get what it looks like, and then go play Zero. and go play 0 2, because those games are just so good, and I can't recommend them enough. I would like to get up there, but I guess I can't right now. Not that. I wanted to see the tank stats again. Not that. How did I do it before? It wasn't plus, right? Alright, I guess we'll figure it out in a little bit. I want to get up there somehow. My tank doesn't have a whole lot of... It's very heavy feeling, which is weird because typically Blaster Master games have like very floaty jumping. For the tank specifically, the human always feels heavy. So I took damage there in hopes that whatever I find up here is... I can't even get up there. Okay, cool. I mean, I appreciate that they're reusing the music from the first area in the NES game. I don't think it's necessarily a great remix. It really just feels like they orchestrated the original theme, which is kind of boring. Can I make that jump? Almost. Hey. I don't know that I wanted to do this. I feel like I entered an area I did not want to yet. So this is like straight Metroidvania. I feel like I should point that out. This is going to be, you know, I go around, I gather powers, I find stuff on a map. So that's where I currently am. There are 2 gates here. So let's go exploring. Some of these will have bosses in them. In the original Blaster Master, all of the bosses were in these overhead sections, and the tank was really just for exploration. In 0, and I think in Blasting Again, the Game Boy game, or any enemy below the Game Boy game, there were a few tank fights that were bosses. You know what? I'm going to update the stream information. I've had it set as retro for this whole time. I think that was probably fine for Castlevania. But let's go with Blaster Master Overdrive. Update information. Oh, I got a large health pack, which I didn't really need because I hadn't lost health yet. I don't know where that goes. Is that a boss? Oh yeah, that's a boss. That's a classic boss too. Oh no, 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 no. I kind of wish I had a health bar to look at. So I've got to say, like, I mean, it's a graphically improved Blaster Master, alright. It's a little slow, it's a little rough around the edges. I don't know what else Sunsoft put out on WiiWare, if anything, but I'm glad that this was like their first step in bringing Blaster Master back. Unfortunately, with no health bar, I can't really be sure how much health this guy has left. And this is a Blaster Master game now without a health bar and without the ability to abuse pause glitches like in the original Blaster Master. Because of how collision worked in the original Blaster Master, you could do things like drop a bomb on an enemy, and as long as you kept pausing while the explosion was going off, they would keep taking damage from it, because the game just checked to see if the sprites overlapped, and if they did, which they would have if you kept pausing, then you were all good. You would get easy kills. Should start charging at me. Come on. Just die already. You're taking too many hits. I am glad that I found this boss, though, because that bosses almost always result in an additional tank part. Alright, now you're going to charge at me. I'm glad that, like, it choreographs its attack. You can see, you know, it snips twice before it charges forward. And it only does it on the left side, it seems. Oh, I stand deeply corrected. Well played, sir. Alright, maybe I want this. Well, yeah, and I mean, I think if you look back, there's an identical boss to this in the original Blaster Master, and it probably fights similar too. They were NES action games. They all fit like this one mold. Very few of them tried to do something different after Zelda came out. They were all like, oh, that works well. Although, like, specifically, this does feel like a Link to the Past boss, not a Zelda 1 boss. Come on, die already. I feel like we've been doing this for way too long. Back up. Back the fuck up. Back. No. Hey. Stop it. Bad boss. Shit. Come on. Stop charging me. There we go. You know, I appreciate the decision to use the original soundtrack and revamp it. The boss music is just like a 5-second loop, and I don't know that I ever noticed it before. Anchor Kit 1 obtained. Alright, you gonna warp us out of here? Cool. Alright, get back in the thing. Okay, so if I press A, now I can latch onto things. Unfortunately, not Bionic Commando style. I have I've got an energy bar at the top, which is not normal for the series, which seems to dictate how much of any type of shot I can use. Okay, so this looks like it could be another boss. Let's go fight it. Oop, I went back right out. Hey Kyle, what game did Frostbite end up settling on? Well, I guess I'm down back to power 1 again. That's unfortunate. And I'm dead. Is that going to send me back? Okay. Yeah, I game overed. Oh. Oh. It's one of those games. Yeah, I saved before the boss, not after the boss. Alright, this is not the ideal kind of game to play on a stream like this then. Why don't we go back and try something different from my WiiWare selections. Alright, we're going to play some Donkey Kong Country. If for no other reason than I think it's a good change of pace between this and all the Castlevania we've played tonight. Now, Donkey Kong Country is a game I know incredibly well. Like, my average for fully completing it is like an hour and 20 minutes, something like that. Obviously, this is not a time to be referred to. This is a much more casual run, but on my physical copy of the game, which I've played significantly more, I was completely consistent in my timing. Pick up some extra lives. So Donkey Kong Country, if you've somehow never played it, one of the best platformers of all time, in my opinion. Probably in many people's opinions. This first game had a lot of secret areas. You don't have to win the secret areas, you just have to find them. And that gets you percentage points in your total score. Okay, bye, Rambi. There are 4 of those animal buddies that you can ride around on. That was Rambi the Rhino. You'll see him probably the most out of any of them. You collect these tokens in the various levels, and they bring you to bonus rooms once you've collected 3 of each, or 3 of any of them, rather. honestly, it's not really ideal to have to go to those bonus areas, which is why I'm going to try to avoid them in the future. Some of these bonus areas are nice because they give you extra lives. Some of the Animal Buddy bonus areas are nice because you can collect a lot of extra lives. But when push comes to shove, this isn't a game that I need those extra lives. Like, I'm not... There's maybe 1 or 2 levels in the entire game that I actually have platforming troubles with, and we're not likely going to see me have those issues. So the exclamation point at the end of a stage means that I've completed it fully. When I've reached the first save point, I should have like 14% complete. So Donkey and Diddy control slightly differently in this game. Diddy's a little faster, and I believe Donkey jumps higher, something like that. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think Diddy might actually jump higher, but... And if you lose both of them, you lose life. I'm gonna get Diddy back at the next level though, so I'm not super worried about losing him right at the end of Ropey Rampage, or Chimp Caverns, whatever that level is called. If you collect K, O, and G letters, then you get an extra life. There's 1 set of letters in every stage. Some levels don't have bonus stages, but like water levels just straight up don't. Excuse me. Alright, time to get on guard the swordfish, or the marlin. I'm not sure which one he's supposed to be. Pick up this extra life. Run away from the croctopus. Grab another fish, even though there's probably one swimming around with my name on it. Oh, I picked up a second espresso token. Espresso is the ostrich character. It's a pretty awesome shirt that was on the Eddie a little while back that I picked up. It's got like a sort of cartoony Donkey and Diddy riding a very realistic looking ostrich. I don't know why, but I'm totally blanking on where the bonus stages are in this level. I mean, not all of them, but like... Okay, I don't want that. One of them is in the wall coming up. Yeah, explain that. He ran off one way and then appeared in the barrel behind me. Oh, picked up an unguard token now. Come on, get out of sync with that. Thank you. Oh, fuck. So there is a... I haven't gotten all of the bonus areas. Interesting. I must have missed one. I'm choosing to skip over as much of this barrel crap as I can. I know it's my weakness. There we go. Alright, 14% candy. 14%. Alright. Bosses are no big deal in this game. We're just going to keep doing this. Alright, and that was World 1. Alright. So we are in Winky's Walkway, one of very few levels in which we get to see clearly the best animal buddy, Winky the Frog. Wow. I pressed Y to pick up the barrel, and I guess it was a little too far forward. Technically don't need Winky to get to any of the bonus areas. I do not want to get that. I would have 3 then, and I'm trying to avoid going to those. Alright, so the next level, Minecart Carnage, has a quick warp to the end. So let's take it. If this was an early version of the ROM, there would be a fun little way to fly through the level. Literally fly, not skip to the end like I just did. But we're not going to do that because, again, it's not the right version of the ROM. So there's one of these slot machine barrel type. Oh, come on. Type bonus areas at the kind of the halfway point of the game that is notorious for being a pain in the ass. It is in, not Blackout Basement, but one of the oil drum alley levels, and you have to get three bananas. When you do, it gives you a barrel, and the barrel opens up the far right wall. But you have to jump at the wall, otherwise you won't fall into the exit. And the exit gives you access to another bonus area within the first bonus area. It's a devious little trick, and I'm not sure how they expected people to find it. Oh no, Winky's stuck in the middle. What am I ever going to do? Alright, cool. So, we don't need that tire. We've got a frog. Honestly, I could have played this on the Super Nintendo itself and just played the... I've got like 4 or 5 different places I could play this game, and I chose to play it here just because we already had the Wii open. So I've chosen to intentionally skip the bonus areas in this level so that I can quickly beat it. But also because the bonus areas are all easily accessible going backwards. But not like that. At that point, I might as well just go forwards. You know what I don't want to do? I don't want to complete a level as Donkey Kong. Not a game with his name in it. So I believe there's only 2 secrets in this one. And they're both like right next to each other. Well, fuck. One's right here. The other one's right after it. There's a barrel I have to push back. Or not a barrel, this is what I mean, a tire. Bouncy tire. Often the rule of thumb is if you see a string of bananas, it leads somewhere. Rarely is this not the case. Roll, donkey, roll. Ah. Well, I did get all the exits, so I shouldn't have to do it again. Yeah, alright. Candy save point. Alright, Millstone Mayhem. Here's one. And we are going to take the Diddy Kong. Who needs the K? So in a weird twist, the millstones actually can't hit you if you are rolling. Not that that usually matters, but... so these games are back when Rare used to be cool. And now they make Sea of Thieves. What a way they've come. Yeah, we're doing 101, because why not? I'm just at the end of World 2 right now. I was playing Blaster Master Overdrive, but then I died and found out that the game kicks you back to the title screen. And I hadn't saved after that boss. I was not going back to the boss again. That did not seem like a good time. Yeah, right? That's exactly how I felt. Well, bye, Winky. Oh, bye, Donkey. I pressed Y, but I guess I didn't roll. I will take my frog in a box, thank you. Well, now he's dead. Alright, boss number 2. Bonk. Bonk. And that's 3. One more should do it. Alright, we've already finished a good chunk of the game. Hey Kyle, what did Frostbite decide he's going to play in the end? He's playing Prince of Persia. Neat. Yeah. No, I gotcha. It's like, it's the best one. Why wouldn't you play that one? It's before Ubisoft let it go to their head, and remember that time that that they had this game called Prince of Persia Assassins, and it became Assassin's Creed. Wait, hold up, what? I didn't touch the controller after I shot straight up in the air, so why did I fall down next to the barrel? So this one I have to do is Diddy, because it's very easy to break this bonus room. Speaking of. Alright, don't break it, Donkey Kong. If you jump into that while holding the barrel above your head as Donkey Kong, the bonus room counts as explored, or at least opened, but not explored or something stupid like that. It's a weird glitch in the game. Alright, that was Vulture Culture. Treetop Town. I'm glad that I started as Diddy because I need him to get up to this one. Fortunately, this isn't one of the future games where you need to actually complete the bonus rooms in order to log them in your completion checklist. So a lot of this is just because I played the game multiple times, but I would say an equal amount of my knowledge in this game comes from the fact that, like, the devs set up a bunch of rules for how level design was going to work, and then they stuck to them. So as I mentioned before, if you see a trail of bananas, or if you see a banana in an area that doesn't make any sense, it's got to be secret. Yeah, and you know what? Part of it is that in DKC 2 and 3, because the hidden areas are all locked behind warp barrels, there aren't any walls that you just, like, naturally break outside of things that you use Rambi or On Guard for. It's very difficult for them to do that. Now, that's personally one of the reasons that I think Donkey Kong Country 1 is such a great game by comparison to those two. 2 and 3 are, 2 is a better game, generally speaking, than the first one. But 1 did all these things with regards to secret collecting that was just so much better. Yeah, 2 is the best. 3 is the most creative, for better or for worse. And then, of course, you got the Retro Studios duology so far that have followed the original Rareware trilogy. And I mean, I think Returns is a very fun game in the spirit of Donkey Kong Country, and Tropical Freeze is just like one of the best platformers I've ever played. And I think I have a copy of the Game Boy Color version of Donkey Kong Country. It adds one level and rearranges one of the worlds. It's otherwise a surprisingly faithful adaptation of Donkey Kong Country. There were also Game Boy Advance versions of it, and I've played them briefly. I don't like them. They had to remake them from the ground up. I think I just got a third Rambi token shit. And of course the Donkey Kong Land games, which are their own thing. So this is actually the worst of the Animal Buddy stages, because in most of them you have the opportunity to get a bunch of these banana tokens, and then also get a large multiplier, which allows you to get extra lives. The only problem is that the likelihood of getting to the multiplier is significantly lower, and like the timer speeds up. I timed this once. The timer just suddenly like gets stupid fast in this one. So like, so close. In all of the other ones, it's easy to get like 10 lives. This one, not so much. Alright, so the final bonus area for this level is on the other side of these steps, but I have to bring this barrel with me. No, getting the Rambi token isn't hard. It's getting the Rambi token once you already have a fair amount of... Like, you have to make the Rambi token useful, because the Rambi token is a multiplier to your existing banana supply. Alright, I always forget one of the... Like, every time I play this, I forget where one of the secrets is in this level. I don't know why. It's consistent, though, like, every time. Well, fuck. Weirdly, I think there's only 2 temple levels, and this is the other one. Like, I'm pretty sure I've already passed the other bonus area. Kyle, if you remember, just let me know. Oh, well, fuck. Yeah, it's certainly not a high point for anyone. I'm pretty sure I missed something. Yeah. Let's save and then I'll go back into that level. Alright, cool, Temple Tempest. Yeah, okay. I thought it was something like that. By On Guard. Or Espresso. I'm going to exit out of that level because I've gotten everything. Orangutan Gang. This level's a bitch. This level has like 5 secret exits. There are 5 bonus areas. Alright, so here's one. We're gonna skip it though, because I don't need the lives, so I'm not gonna take them. Should get spat out back here. Yeah, this level does also suck, I agree. And I think I've ruined my chance of getting that now. Yeah, it does have 5 bonuses. Oh, shit, I didn't mean to toss that barrel. I don't remember if I need espresso for one of them, though. Here, we're just gonna... Oh, I can't off myself that way. Fun. Okay, Orangutan Gang. Round 2. Alright, so it's already recorded me getting the one down there. Let's switch back. Cool, so that was not it. I think I jumped... I think I was supposed to at the next section of land, not that one. Also, I really like the background in this level, and it's the only level that you see it in. Well, fuck. Yeah, Orangutan Gang is like one of the worst levels in the game. It's very pretty, but it exists just to fuck with the player. And I don't like levels like that, especially early levels in a platformer. Yeah, okay, this is the one where I was supposed to jump off with. It's technically doable with without espresso. But you know what? We're also right next to espresso, so I don't know why I would ever want to. Well, I guess I don't have a choice now. Oh, I just missed it. It's really shitty because it's like where I need to ditch espresso to. Shit. Like, I always remember there's 3 or 4 levels in this game that trip me up every time I play it. And, unfortunately, 2 of them are in this world, so. Alright, 2. We are at 2. Three. Four is also down here, and then 5 I have to get up towards the end of the level for. There's the G. Ah, yes, Kung. Ah. I don't know why I bothered with the barrel. The easiest way to do that is just to have him throw his barrel at Donkey Kong, the classic character, Donkey Kong. Ah, fuck. I needed it right there, just so we're all clear. I wonder if I can get to a... Come on, come here. He needs to just jump up here briefly so that I can jump off his head and get up there. Come on, man. Don't do this to me. Well then. I guess I'm gonna have to go kill myself. Unless there's a barrel back here that I missed. But I don't think there is. Yeah, just end it. Do it. Oh, fuck. Wow. I've spent way more time on this level than I think I ever have before. Kyle, before you joined, I was saying, like, my average for this game is, like, hour and 20 minutes, hour and a half, something like that, when I'm, like, even on 101%, just because I've played it so many times. But every once in a while, like, you just get this kind of rough day playing it. I'll take that. Alright, Espresso. You're gonna give me whatever's over there. I'll take it. If a gorilla suddenly popped out of a wall, like a rock face, riding an ostrich, do you think you'd be concerned? Hey, it's Clam City. Hey, I'm dead. I forgot which level I was in. All the water levels kind of blend together for me. I know where the early on guard is. It's right here. Well, bye on guard. It's nice knowing you. Oh, there you are. Alright, I'm going to briefly pause for a second to go grab some water and use the bathroom. I will be right back. Alright, and I'm back. Sorry about that. Clam City. I will give a preemptive warning right now that I'm only planning on streaming till 11 at the latest. My streams are usually set in 3-hour blocks, so I don't feel worn down by the end of them, emotionally or physically. Today has already been a long day, so don't be surprised if I shut down at like 10:30 or something like that, but I have a feeling I'm gonna at least get through part of the next world. I can't remember if those are Chomps or Chomps Juniors. Very creative names from the team over at Rare. Alright, now it's time for Bumblebee Rumble. I mean, at least some of the boss fights are more interesting than, just jump on them a few times. Although, given that throwing stuff is kind of the secondary throw for Donkey and Diddy, it might as well just be jump on them. Alright, Gorilla Glacier. Snow Barrel Blast. Well, I know which one I want. The one that doesn't contain the Winky token. So in this level, a snowstorm will slowly overtake the map. And it's nice, it's consistent. When you go back, it's still snowing. It's not really a fake snowstorm, you know what I'm saying? It's not a faux storm. Did not mean to do that. Wasn't one of those above a barrel? Could have sworn it was one of those. Oh, it's totally this. No? Am I doing this wrong? I could have sworn that one of those was above a barrel. Shit. Okay, that time I didn't even try to do it. Nah, I missed the barrel. There was one that was back there behind a bee. I had to shoot straight down where the bee was. Well, that wasn't good. Okay, so I believe there's only one more bonus area, if any, that I haven't gotten so far. And I know where it is. Alright, cool. Snow Barrel Blast is done. Slip Slide Ride is the only level to use its template, which is just so depressing because, first of all, the background is gorgeous, but also the music is great, and they don't ever reuse this music. Like, it hasn't shown up in any future Donkey Kong games. It wasn't used in this beyond this one level. Alright, that's 2 exits. Or 2 hidden areas, rather. This is another game where I'm addicted to birds. Should start keeping track of how often that happens. Alright, come here. Ah ha ha. Fool me once, shame on you. This is like the only time they ever implement this puzzle in any of the Donkey Kong games. And it's too bad because it's an interesting little thing. Climbing vines. Very Donkey Kong Jr. Alright, Ice Age Alley. This one's a dick of a level. It starts off with this, okay? There's stuff behind me. Jump over, and it's another one of those carry espresso to a specific point of the levels. They're never good levels. And like once that happens, you might as well just kill yourself. I've seen that it's doable to get into the bonus without espresso, but like you need to really understand exactly where certain jumps have to happen, and I just don't have that kind of dedication to put into this game. And hey, in case you had to ditch espresso, here's another espresso. And that's the only other one in the level. So I hope you grabbed them while you could. And I fucked up. At least I got into that first one. The second time that you get into a bonus, you actually need espresso, and that's why I'm grabbing them again. Not for the one where you only kind of sort of need them. No! Fuck! It was like right ahead as well, is where I needed them. This is probably the third or fourth of those levels that I said can just, fuck right off. Fine levels if you're just playing the game normally, but if you're going for full completion points, they're just like a swift kick to the dick. All right. I think a combination of lack of sleep and long day are getting to me, and I'm gonna call it here. But I'm not quitting. We'll come back and finish Donkey Kong 101. So keep a lookout for that. Friday, though, I am sticking with my pre-assigned schedule that I posted, and I will be continuing Chrono Cross. As a quick update for that, I have looked up the battle system, and I had figured out like 90% of the battle system. But it was that last 10% that I think is really valuable, and I don't know when the game was going to teach me about it. I'm glad that I looked it up, because I think I can provide a better experience with that game going forward. So again, Friday's going to be more Chrono Cross. If I stream on the weekend, I'm going to do the sequel to Magical Quest as a follow-up to last weekend's stream. So yeah, Hope you've enjoyed yourselves, and thanks for watching.